The weekend is here, and it's always nice to have a slower start to our mornings after the busyness of Monday to Friday. And I have my big cup of coffee in my great pumpkin mug. And every once in a while, I like to start watching the beginning of a movie in the mornings and then, 20, 30 minutes, shut it off. And then it's something to look forward to all day to watch the end of it. And I've been wanting to watch some Halloween movies. And I know a few people have said this is one of their go-to movies. The Haunted Mansion, anything with Eddie Murphy is pretty light. And I was in the mood to watch it. So we watched about half an hour. Then I put a little bit of cozy jazz music, Snoopy making coffee, Spider-Man sitting on top. But I like to keep that cozy feeling to our home. Linus is curled up sleeping. Hunter had a great sleep. He's well rested. He's been out and about and everything this morning. Just getting a little ear rub from him. And then I'm just going to get some laundry done, figure out what's for dinner, get everything cleaned up, and then I'm going to do a little bit of coloring. I'm doing the Megan Miles art sheet from last year, just a little bit of coloring just to kind of slow my mind down, and I just find this relaxes me because we're going to enjoy our day today. At a Pioneer Village today. I thought it was the perfect day. There's some crispness in the air, lots of leaves on the ground, and our first stop was the train station. And as soon as we walked in, we were welcomed with the warmth from the wood stove, and the trains were going all around, and it was very interesting to see, and just all of the history and changes over the years. We were really enjoying it. And then the next stop was a home, and I couldn't help but think about how we just celebrated our Thanksgiving. And, part of that was the celebration of the harvest, preparing everything for the long winter, and then seeing this home, how a family of multiple children would all live in this one room house, and how beautiful, how they took care of everything. The mattress was made out of hay, and they usually changed it about twice a year. And then just hearing all of, what the families would do and how old the children were when they would start doing like jobs and that around here. I couldn't help but just enjoy the moment. Like, I just thought it was so beautiful. And then we were at the general store, and then just going in and just thinking about how things have changed over the years. Some for the better. I think some things might have been better many, many years ago. I think everybody really learned how to do a lot of skills, make things stretch, cooking and harvesting and sewing. Like, it was just the perfect day, the nice crisp air, and then just thinking about how many, many years ago, how so many people were preparing for the long, cold winter. There was another house. I guess that's the outhouse in the back, and the washboard on the front porch, hanging out the laundry. And this one was a 2-room house. And I just can't even imagine in the hot summer, like having the stove going to bake bread and cook dinner and make all of the meals. Here's the baby waiting and the oil lamp and just everything out on display. It was just really nice. And then just seeing the furniture and how they would treasure this and have minimal items in the house. And here's where you used if you didn't want to go to the outhouse in the middle of the cold night, but just really beautiful. And then how you would wash in the morning and all of those different items here. I really, really enjoyed it. And it was really good for Andrew too, because he was able to walk around and not have to be in one place. And some places had people telling us about it, but it was also nice to go into buildings where you could just kind of explore and just see what there was. I really, really enjoyed it. So anyways, on to the next thing. Everything was up and running too, like the blacksmith, the wood shop. This is where the cooler would have been, and the ice and everything. So it was really nice that they had everything out. And I said, this is where you would have shaved in the mornings, Andrew. And then the Quaker oats and all of the dishes. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a really nice activity to do on this day. In the schoolhouse, there was a piano in the corner, and Andrew was immediately drawn to it. He loves music, but it was hard because there was pedals and you had to push them to get the music to play. So he was kind of like, nothing's coming out, but it was really nice. We were trying to show it to him, but it was a little bit hard to coordinate it all. And it was just really nice to see chalkboards and spelling and arithmetic, like things that I did when I was a child. Back in the old days, we had chalkboards and we had to clean the brushes, and then they had another wood stove in the corner. But as we were walking out, like this would have been an original wood stove. And both my parents went to one room schoolhouses. I've seen them, and one is changed into a house and one is something else now. But it was really nice to see all of this and just how things have changed over the years. But we all really enjoyed it. It was a really beautiful thing to do on an autumn day, and all of the beautiful red leaves. So of course we had to walk through them and just enjoy them, and it was really beautiful. So it was a lovely way to spend a Saturday. I shared this book earlier in Vlogtober, and I'm making Angie's creamy tortellini soup for dinner. I have a full video on it. I will link it down below. This is my second time making it. I like that it's a really quick, hearty soup that everybody will eat, and I have my staple vegetables for this time of the year: onions, carrots, and celery. I always like to have lots of these in the fridge. They last for a long time, and you can use them in so many different recipes, and then you can also use them for snacking. So I am going to get them all diced up, and it's just the perfect day to be in the kitchen and make a soup. And I really find that we're getting into the part of autumn where life really starts to slow down. You want to be indoors more often and just take your time and really enjoy cooking and making a nice meal and having leftovers for lunch or a container for the freezer. And I'm also using a package of the sausage that I got. And I really do like having a variety of sausage in the freezer because I feel like I use them a lot for some different recipes. And honestly, with the price of beef going up, it's kind of nice to have some different cuts of meat in the freezer. The linked video will have the recipe and all of the instructions, and I did everything the same. I think I used a cup of beef broth because that's what I had in the fridge. I think last time I had a cup of chicken broth, and I just really enjoyed cooking this. I had made it before. It was really simple. It came together well. And that's one of the things I do like about cooking is sometimes you can tweak recipes a little bit. Once you make it the first time, then you kind of know what to expect or what to change. And this is a soup that I will be making again. I really did like it and I wanted to try it again because I did have the ravioli. So I needed it to simmer for 15 minutes. And then I just sat down, did a little bit more coloring. And I was scrolling through social media and it was a girl coloring and it was like, why are you coloring all the time? And then it was like really noisy, all the background noise and everything. And then all of a sudden it's like this nice calming music. And she just explained how it just helps relax her. It tunes everything out and she just kind of gets in the zone. And honestly, that's the way it is for me too. Like there's certain times where I do it and I find it very relaxing. I find it calms my anxiety. It keeps my mind from racing or all of the things that are going on. Like I just feel a sense of calmness. And right now I was just doing a little bit of coloring, waiting for the soup to come to a simmer so I can add in the tortellini. The first time I made this soup, I wasn't sure about the tortellini because I was really scared that it was going to plump up and get really soggy. And I didn't cook it very long. And this time I turned the heat right off because this is an enamel covered cast iron Dutch oven and it keeps its heat. So I put the tortellini and then I put the spinach in and then I stirred it all around and then I just put the lid on and then I let it sit for like 5-6 minutes. And the tortellini was cooked all the way through, but it didn't plump up and I found it was perfect. And then it was really great for having it another night. That's what I found out from the first time I made it. So like I said, I'm just putting the lid on, letting it sit. I'm also making some grilled cheese sandwiches on my griddle. And then I did a little bit more coloring and I found it very relaxing. I was also inspired by my Halloween nails to kind of do the coloring for the letters. And I didn't get it finished. I'm okay with it, but I thought it was really cute. And dinner came together great. I put a little bit of fresh Parmesan cheese on top, made the grilled cheese, and it was just the right amount of liquid. Everybody loved it. We have some leftovers, and there wasn't a lot of cleanup to it. I really love these one-pan dinners. And then just to finish the night, we kept it really simple and decided to do a little bit of baking. I had some cookies in the fridge, so we made the Pillsbury pumpkin cookies. And then I also had the pumpkin spice chip ones or whatever. I always grab them whenever I see them, and I usually do it once throughout autumn. So tonight was the night, and that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed having a little peek into our day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another day of Vlogtober.